How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What's up, Will?
What up?
Hey, happy Easter.
Happy Easter. He has risen,
Easter
they say.
to you. Happy Easter to everybody joining us. Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name is Romero. That's my boy, Will. And this is where we talk all things mixed martial arts and any recent events in mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, just a reminder to everybody, if you want to listen to us, watch us, just go to storyofthefight.com. Literally has all of our links there for all of our podcasts, anything we upload, videos, you name everything. It's all on there. That being said,
it is time.
It is time. It's time, as Andrew Tosi says. There's a lot to cover from last night.
Easter. Last night's event was
hey, shout out Regen.
One of the best nights the UFC's done in a while, I think. I know I shit on them all the time, and it wasn't perfect. There's plenty to shit on. But I think I'm going to try to start being more positive towards the UFC. Because I feel like, because I complain so much.
A returning leaf here? Is it because it's Easter's?
It's not because it's Easter's. Maybe I have risen, but
man,
for me, it's just, I know I complain, the pacing of an hour into the pay-per-view, we've only watched one fight, all this stuff, right?
Oh, pacing's awful. Don't get me going.
Pacing's awful. But, and like, let's be real. I'm still gonna shit on certain things. But I feel like it can't be that fun to listen to just me be super negative all the time. So I'm just going to try to be a little bit more positive.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, I'll say this, man. They put out a really good product last night.
Did a good job.
Holy smokes. Do you want to get going on the main event?
Yeah, let's just get right into it.
Let's get right into it, dude. We had Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira, however you want to pronounce it. You saw from our predictions episode how excited I was for this fight, man. I was pumped.
Yeah.
And
how could you not be?
Yeah, so I picture this, man. Right? Like the next picture on here, it just shows Pereira, it shows Izzy both looking at the camera. This is what I picture, right? Like, let's say that you have two separate nations, two separate countries, and they're trying to settle a war, and they say, hey, you send your best warrior. I'll send mine.
Yeah.
Brazil sends Alex Pereira. Nigeria sends Israel Adesanya. And this settles it. They send their two best warriors to go up against each other. And this is what you get, dude. Oh, my God. I was watching the embeddeds, the face-off, the walk-up, the build-up. Izzy talking about, the revenge. Just leading up to the entire thing. I'm getting goosebumps right now, dude, just talking about it. I was so excited. I had a couple guys over last night watching the fights. They were super pumped. Dude, it was a good night. It was a really good night.
And it's a good night when we usually don't text. We have the common thread. We have a couple common like group messages or group chats, but I usually don't text them just because I know we're going to talk about it and stuff. But I'm pretty sure I messaged the one with George and you 5 or 6 times throughout the night because it was just very good. Like there was just stuff to talk about. It was just very good.
We are in a lot of group texts together. Actually, now that I think about it,
probably there's more than a few. There's more than a few. Tosi says, "LOL." When Izzy played dead in front of Alex's crying children, warmed my soul. To an outsider, that's a crazy message to read, but it warmed my soul too. I'm not gonna lie.
we can talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So the history, right? They've met in kickboxing. Izzy was beating everybody in kickboxing. They meet. They have a very close fight. Pereira gets the win. They do the rematch. Izzy stuns him, gets the standing 8 count. Later on in the fight, Pereira, he survives that, knocks him out cold. As he's on the ground, Pereira yells at him. Pereira's kids get in the ring. One of them goes up next to Izzy, pretends like he gets knocked out, falls flat next to him. Chaos. Izzy transitions into MMA. Beats everybody. Dominant champ, becomes a champ. Gets the passing of the torch from Anderson Silva because they're very similar, right? Long counter strikers.
Passing test after test.
Test after test. Fighting wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Gets the belt. Defends it. Pereira's like, I'm coming. I'm going to take that belt. I beat him twice already. I can do it again. And he comes over to MMA, beats a couple guys, knocks out Sean Strickland. Maybe didn't have the same kind of path to the title that Izzy had, but it didn't really matter because the path was to get to Izzy, and everybody knew that, so everyone was kind of like okay with it. I know probably some people complain, but there it is. Pereira gets the title shot. He gets stung in the first round, just like their second fight. Izzy almost finishes him. Round ends. Later on in the fight, Izzy has to survive maybe 3 more minutes, and then Pereira hits him, rocks him, beat him up against the fence. They call the fight. Good stoppage. I complained about it at the beginning. It was a good stoppage. So now it's like, damn, Izzy's 0-3 against this guy, and outside of him, he beats everybody. He's beaten everybody. Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero, Kelvin Gastelum, like
Great
Derek
fighters.
Brunson. Yeah, he's beaten everybody, but he just cannot beat this guy. And Pereira is just he's just committed to trolling Izzy everywhere they go. He's just it's crazy how much he trolls this guy because he's such a stoic dude, but he just is relentless with the trolling. He shows up to the arena for the first time this week wearing like a Pikachu embroidered jacket. Alex Pereira doesn't play fucking Pokemon. Like he's just a total troll on Izzy and the biggest stain on Izzy's career, really, if you're Izzy. And then so to go into this fight with all that, you've been knocked out by this guy twice. He's beaten you 3 times. To be able to get over that hump and then knock him out in the second round of the fourth fight is just crazy, man. That takes so much skill, so much mental strength, so much it was cathartic watching it. It was crazy. It was such a good main event.
It's like going through a storybook. You know what I mean?
That's the thing that separates the sport from everything else. You don't get that in anything else, where the consequences are so dire, where you're getting flatlined and you're completely unconscious while you're falling down. The back of your head smacks against the canvas. You bounce a couple times. Like in baseball, you strike out. You know what I mean?
You'll get him next time.
You'll get him next time. In baseball, it's like if you succeed 3 out of 10 times, you're a god. You're one of the best hitters of all time. In MMA, it's different. So you get these storylines. And you get some kind like a resolution.
You win
to this.
3 out of 10 fights
You're
in the
cut.
UFC, then you're Chase Sherman. You know what I
mean? Damn. Regent says, I couldn't believe my eyes. The position he was in and being able to land that shot with all the context is just insane. And that's why we spent so much time with the context before, right? Because the fight itself is very good, but the context makes it legendary. This is what, if Izzy loses this fight, it's a very big stain on his legacy as one of the greats. But to do what he did last night, I mean, that cements him. It cements him. And I know 3-1, right? It's not like he still lost to this guy 3 times. But the fact that he was able to get a win over him, and not just a win, but to get the title back.
Spectacular
and
fashion,
to knock
though.
him out cold. I mean,
oh my God. I know. So good. HLB Comer says this could have gone so wrong for Izzy with the whole build up and everything, but the gender, well, is back with a bang. I don't think it's settled, though. We might see this one again.
I hope we do.
I don't think we will, honestly.
It sounds like Dana doesn't want it. Izzy doesn't want it. That seems crazy to me. I think they should do it again. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see it with hindsight, right? HLB Comer says, and he played him, pulled a Derek Lewis on him, but Izzy was smart about it. So let's get into the fight itself, right?
Yes.
So first round,
feeling out process.
Pereira's attacking the legs of Izzy. Izzy has some great entries despite the leg kicks. The commentary kind of swayed it to make it seem like that was Pereira's round. I had it for Izzy. Who'd you score the first round for?
I had it for Pereira.
Yeah, so it was a close round, right?
It was a close round.
Izzy was doing so many cool things, which normally you don't get to see that. And he talked about it, right? Like he was the hunted, right? Pereira beat him twice in kickboxing. Izzy goes over. Now Pereira's coming over him to hunt him, basically, right? And he's like, now the hunted becomes the hunter, right? That was like the whole thing he was going for. And you could see it in the fight in that first round. A lot of the times it's Izzy in most fights circling around the outskirts of the cage, trying to evade shots. When he gets stuck, He'll do the little side feints and then go this way. Oh, no, I'm going this way. Juke you out, circle around. Not in this one. When he got backed up in that first round, he'd explode forward, throw the jab, throw the 1-2 to get Pereira to move back. It wasn't so much evading. It was more bringing it to him, which was interesting, right? Because that's not how he normally fights. And it's very hard for a counter striker to be able to do that when they're so used to evading around, circling around, and picking their shots. But man, it reminded me of Mighty Mouse against Adriano Moraes the second time when he hurts him and he's just kind of shuffling with him as Moraes is falling back and stumbling back, and Mighty Mouse isn't running at him, he isn't charging at him like recklessly, he's just hopping with him and gauging the distance as he moves forward with him, and Izzy was doing that so well. And he was interesting from both sides, you know. He threw at one point, he was an orthodox. He threw the 1, threw the 2, switches stances on the 2, right? So shifting 1-2, and then throws the rear. Now the left leg is the rear leg, throws that right to the body of Alex Pereira. And that was like a flawless combo. The first round was very interesting. It was a good first round. I think all 3 judges gave it to Izzy. But it was very close. Second round, they're in the corner, and Eugene's like, "Hey, he's chewing up your leg again." And Izzy even acknowledges it. He's like, "Yeah, he's getting to my leg. He's getting to it. He got to it right away." And he's like, "All right, we got to get even Stevens. Every time he lands a leg kick, you need to land one." And you saw that a little bit more in the second round. Izzy was a little bit more active with the leg kicks. Pereira just stalking him basically. And in this round, Izzy started like throwing with more volume, it seemed like. He started clipping him. Pereira lands the left hook against the fence. And I was like, oh, that's the shot. And Izzy ate it. And he kept and he got it. He didn't evade him on the fence after that. He brought it to him to get off the fence himself. He fought his way off the fence rather than evading off the fence. That was a very big difference in this fight. Is Izzy's ability to get himself off the cage rather than using his evasiveness. And then the low kick that buckles him. Pereira buckles him with a low kick. And you're like, "Oh, that was a nasty one." And Izzy retreats. He doesn't move forward to get him off, and he starts circling. And you're like, "Oh no, this is pretty bad." Because when Alex decides to go, it is very hard to either weather that storm or just survive it in general. Like when he goes, and he cracks him, hits him with a couple shots to the body. Izzy drops down to block the body, hits him with a knee to the face, starts coming up top with punches, and Izzy swinging from the hip like Ali, like with the anchor punch, you know, where he throws it. He did the same thing against Robert Whittaker in the first fight. He creates this angle where he almost goes chest to chest with you, and he like sticks his chest forward and he leans back, and he just from behind him almost, he throws that anchor punch over the top and lands it once as Pereira thinks he's getting the finish, and Izzy just pops him with the overhand right, little like hook. It comes down from like the sky, right? He throws it from down here, but it comes down on you, and then it buckles him, and immediately Pereira's like, "No, I'm still finishing you," and he comes back up to land another shot, and Izzy's just, "Nope, there it is again," and then it sets up the left to come up from the bottom, clips him with the left as he's falling down, and just out cold. And then, dude, it was so cathartic. I mean, the whole thing because Pereira's hunting him. He has the bow, like he's shooting the bow in the walkout. There's a video of him kicking the soccer ball. He shoots the soccer ball with the arrow. It's a very Pereira thing. So for him to flatline him like that and in the moment be cognizant enough to fucking grab the bow off his back, shoot 3 arrows for each 3 losses, and then break the bow. I mean, I was out watching it. I was like, this is a fucking movie. This is crazy.
He had been waiting for that already for I don't know how long, man.
It must have felt so good.
And going back to the previous fight, and you see,
sorry, that was super long-winded.
The last round where Pereira's going through it and just absolutely unloads.
Yeah.
And Eugene, Izzy, that they study that fight over and over again. And when Pereira, like you said, when Pereira goes, he goes. And he throws everything else out the window, including his defense. Yep. And his hands are down, and he's also shooting from the hip, and he's just putting as much power as he can into the shots.
Yeah.
And so, that was just a beautiful game plan and saying, hey, okay, when he's coming at you, there's openings.
Yeah.
You evading allows him to continue leaving those openings and just continue being a threat, right? So stand in there, bite down on your mouthpiece. You'll probably get caught, but they always say it's the shots that you don't see coming. They're the ones
If
that
you're
hurt you the
prepared to
most,
take the
right?
shots.
Yes, and you could see, Pereira landed some big lefts. One in the first round, but he saw it. Izzy saw it. He landed another one in the second round. Izzy saw it. But the one that Pereira did not see was the one that was coming, like you said, from the bottom straight over. And then that second one, it kind of looked like a hook, but it almost looked like a straight that just bounced off his temple.
Yeah.
Right. And man, the precision to land the left as he's falling was beautiful.
Yeah.
McGregor's the one that always said precision beats power.
Yeah.
And
true.
he caught him right in the temple, man. Yeah, I think Pereira probably has more power than Izzy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But dude, the timing on that was beautiful. It was awesome, man. And then yes, like Toasty had said, him pointing at his kids, he made it a point. He walked around, saw the kid, pointed at him, and then just lets himself fall and collapses.
Yeah, and then it didn't show it in the feed, but there's a video someone put together of Pereira's kids front row crying and like crying into their arm and stuff as Izzy's like falling over.
No.
Yeah, dude, it's brutal, man.
You got to tag me in that.
Yeah, I'll send it. HW Comer says, everybody thought Izzy has to wrestle, but before the fight, he said something along the lines of, I know what I have to do. In the previous fights, I always hurt him, but then let him recover. Izzy up until this time that Killer Instinct was on point, Izzy has this thing where he's so good in the lead up to a fight of saying things to the media and stuff, knowing that his opponent's gonna hear it, right? It's gonna get back to them. Either they're watching it or someone's gonna tell them, whatever, right? And he made a comment in one of the embeds, I think, where he was like, someone asked him like, "Oh, if you could bring like a legend in there to train you or something like that, who would it be?" And he's like, "Well, for this fight, probably DC. I probably shouldn't say that." And then like moved on, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, he's gonna wrestle." Even me, I was like, "He's gonna wrestle." He had success with it in the first fight. Not even a feint of a takedown in this fight. Not even a feint. And like HLB Comer says, like he acknowledged the fact that he's hurt him multiple times. But and he got the standing 8 count in kickboxing. He was saved by the round in the last fight. When Izzy decides to kill, he can kill. We've seen it numerous times now.
And it was so nice to see again, because that was one of the things when he went on his title reign, right? Is that fighter or
move away from that.
There were fans saying yes, he was moving away from that Killer Instinct. His fights weren't as excited as they were in the past. Look, every single fight's not going to be like a Kelvin Gastelum Izzy fight. You know what I mean? Some of them are going to be against Yoel Romero.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Where there's 2 counter strikers fighting each other.
Yeah, but Izzy's IQ, man, is so high. He's going to fight the fight that he needs to fight. And that's what makes him so great.
It is. And man, and the post-fight interview, one of the best I've ever seen. You had people over. Did you watch it? Did you listen to it?
We were yelling for a while.
Dude, he like fucking Goku. He grabs, he whispers when Joe's about to give him to start the interview. He leans over.
I did hear that.
Hear him. And he's like, he's like, Joe, for one time, can I just take the mic? Like, I'll give it back to you. And I was like, oh God. Sometimes Izzy's pretty cringe, right? Like sometimes he says some shit and you're like, didn't come off as cool as he maybe thought it would. He grabs the mic and he's like, people of Earth. I'm like, what the fuck? Like Goku, send me your energy. Just fucking. And he yells like something along the lines of, I hope all of you people at some point in your life can feel as happy as I feel right now. And I was like, this is so cathartic. Like, this is crazy, man. And I mean, just what a fantastic main event by both of them. It takes 2 to tango, all that stuff, the history behind it all. Alex Pereira is a savage. He's terrifying in there. The way he walks you down and his hands are kind of like this. And he just looks terrifying. And Izzy's just,
you said a word earlier about Pereira, stoic.
Yeah. Stoic.
From the walkout, the music starts. He's just walking out.
To the knockout.
Yeah. And, but I also saw a different Izzy. There's no choreographed
totally
dancing, but the intensity was on his face the entire way out. He looked so focused.
Yeah.
On the mission.
Awful walkout.
And,
Regen
Hey,
says
dude,
one
I'll
of the best
take it,
moments
man.
in some time for sure. Yeah, walking out to Headstrong by Trap was definitely a decision. I hadn't heard that song in a long time. I mean, it works,
Hey,
but
if it pumps him up, dude, whatever
it
he
works. It
did
works. Yeah.
worked.
I mean, what a fantastic night. And we talk about City Kickboxing, right? We talk about their bond, how close they are all. Did you see Volkanovski?
Watch it from home, right? I saw his reaction online.
Yeah, can we
Pretty
play
cool,
that real
dude.
quick?
Oh, there we go.
I
Is that a Izzy shirt that he's wearing?
mean, it is. If when I say that it's cathartic for me to watch Izzy overcome this and do what he did and how it all worked out, when it's cathartic for me to watch it, imagine how everybody at City Kickboxing felt watching that.
Oh, over the
Because
moon, man.
it's just so big. It's just such a big. I mean, just you can't even really put it into words, like that. When I saw that, I was like, man, that is. I mean, just what a great moment in the sport. You know what I mean? Just
Hey, we all need friends like Volkanovski, dude.
God, don't we? I mean, come on. Then, can you imagine wherever the hell Kai Kara France was? Imagine what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these guys are so close. They know how much this means to Izzy to be able to watch him not just win. Like this could have been because let's be real. Even in the last fight, Izzy won every round up until he got finished. He won the first round to all three judges. He was gonna win the second round. Like this could have been a decision win for Izzy if it went the distance. I don't think Pereira wins the decision against someone like Izzy. I think he has to finish him. So if Izzy won this by decision, it wouldn't have been this, But
No.
to be able to knock him out cold, pull the bow off, shoot 3 arrows at him, fucking fake the knockout to his kids, and then to just fucking nail it in the interview. I mean, just
The legacy cemented.
it's cemented.
In my eyes, after this, the legacy cemented. It was a legacy fight. There's so much more on the line for Izzy than there was for Alex Pereira. So happy for Izzy, man. Words can express like he's going to go down as one of the best, if not the best middleweight, of all time. Maybe we'll see because he still has more fighting to do. That's what I'm saying. Because he's still in it, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see where this ends up. All right, man.
Tosi says it's how I felt watching Dustin when he beat Connor. Same, dude. I was with Kevin watching the Connor Dustin fights, and yeah, I'm pretty sure we both shot up and hugged each other. It's like, what the fuck? We don't even know these
Just
guys.
jumping up and down, just hugging.
Yeah.
So funny.
I donated.
All right.
I donated $100 to Dustin's charity after he beat Connor the first time.
I bought some hot sauce, dude, from Dustin.
There you go, dude. But yeah, I mean, just there's moments in this sport that live forever, and last night was one of them for sure.
100%. All right, we'll move on to the co-main event. We had Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal.
This fight pretty much went exactly how I thought it was going to go.
For sure.
Oh,
by the way, in our prediction, you picked Izzy right before.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Izzy too, as well. Right? Yep, I picked Izzy. I had Gilbert Burns in this one. You had
Gilbert Burns.
I
think I know where this is going to end up at the end of the pay-per-view. Who picked what? Blah, blah, blah. Good job.
Well, dude, I don't even remember who else you picked, bro. I don't even remember who else you picked. But here we go. Jorge Masvidal, Gilbert Burns. How old is Jorge again? 38?
38.
And he looked every bit of it.
Yeah, and Gilbert Burns 36, right? He's not some young fighter either. But
No.
I was texting, my mom was texting me about it, and she was like, I was like, yeah, I think George is he's a little washed. He's close to 40. And then when they did the tail of the tape, she texted me back. She's like, oh, Gilbert's close too. They're not that distant in age, right? 36, 38. But there's a line in between 36 and 38 that seems like it's very hard. There's a drop off in between there. You know what I mean? It just 36 to 38 is not the same as like 28 to 30. It seems like I don't know what number it is or where it is, but 38 and 36 is very different.
Yeah, but it's also, you know what? It's a lot of miles at
That
38,
too.
man. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. Not every 38
this
is the
guy's
same.
been backyard brawling. I mean, because if you take a
Yeah.
look at Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, for example,
Yeah. What is he? 30?
still
He's probably
look.
38, right?
I think he's up there. He's up there if you want to double check. But
Is he
I
40?
feel like Masvidal's like 10 years older than him.
Seems like it.
You know, and look,
Wonderboy's 40.
Masvidal. See, and I still feel like Wonderboy has more in the tank. I see
Yeah.
Masvidal even before the fight, and I thought to myself, I don't know how much longer this guy can go. Again, backyard brawl started 20 years ago. You know, in the streets of Miami. So many fights, exactly. And he's made a lot of money at this point.
Yeah.
He's got other business ventures, you know, like he's doing really well for himself. And
Got to pay that
they always
lawsuit with
say,
Colby.
it's hard to get out of those silk sheets, to wake up every single day and hit the grind and, you know, get punched in the face for a living if you don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's the reason that he looked the way he did last night, but I think that it definitely plays a part. I think it plays a small part,
right? Anybody who says there's so many factors that go into what you turn up in the fight, right? It could just be a bad training camp. You could be feeling kind of sick that week. You could be 38 years old. You could have 50 plus fights where you have a lot of miles on. Like all of it goes into it.
Yep.
So everything has an effect on the fight. But at the same time, that applies to both fighters, right? I'm sure there's plenty of negative things affecting Gilbert's performance in this fight, but it's who can go out there and overcome those things. That's the first fight, you know? The first fight happens before they get in the cage. And,
I don't remember who said, but somebody had said, like, there's never a fighter that goes in 100%.
No, there's never. And Gilbert Burns goes out there. First round was kind of close. I had Gilbert Burns winning it, but it was kind of close compared to the next two rounds. But second round, Gilbert gets the takedown and just kind of just beats down on Masvidal. Not the best round. Third round was Gilbert Burns just teeing off on Masvidal. Masvidal back up against the fence, gets hit with a solid shot, sticks his tongue out.
Over and
I
over
saw
again.
someone post a picture side by side of Masvidal with his tongue out next to like that picture of Albert Einstein with his tongue out. Same face. And
Different but
Gilbert
same.
Burns just same but different. Gilbert Burns just cracking him over and over and over again. And like I said, I'm not going to be as negative towards the UFC, but I do have to shout out,
dude.
I do have to shout out the boy Joe Rogan, because a minute into this round, right before the takedown in the third round, Gilbert Burns is cracking him, just teeing off on him, and Masvidal's getting hit. He's like, "Come on, give me more," and then just getting hit again, just back on the fence.
He's rolling with him.
He shoots at the takedown, and they're up against the fence. He's gonna get the takedown. It's obvious. And Joe says, "This could be big in a round that's a final round that's very close so far." And it's like, Joe, what are you watching, man? Your boy's getting fucked up. It's bad.
Yeah,
but
he was just on the Joe Rogan podcast too, right, Masvidal?
Yeah, I'm sure that's why he said it. He's like,
yeah,
it's tough to watch your friends fight. It's tough.
It is.
It's probably really tough to watch them get the shit beat out of them.
But look,
Gilbert Burns did what he needed to do.
Masvidal had a long career. He was very entertaining to watch the last, 3 years of his career. I think we said he's the definition of catching lightning in a bottle, right?
Yeah.
Where, the knockout with Darren Till, the flying knee, that even Dana says, like, that flying knee changed his life, man.
Changed Dana's life.
Changed Ben Askren's.
Definitely.
Legend has it he's still waking up somewhere. But
still hasn't woken up.
He did what he had to do in his career. He's made his money, and he can ride off into the sunset now. Gilbert Burns, though. I don't want this just to be about Masvidal being 38 and all that. Gilbert Burns looked fantastic. I still think he's a freaking title contender.
He definitely is. Put on mass for this fight too. He looked bigger than he has previously. He said he hired like 5 professional scouts to watch all his previous fights to tell him what he's doing wrong and like specifically work on those things. Guys don't do that. Fighters don't do that. That's like next level shit. HW Comer says Gilbert is a very smart dude. Really enjoyed listening to him. He is very smart.
And he's a
You
killer,
don't-
man.
He's a
Let's not
savage.
forget that he was very close to taking Kamaru Usman out
He
as
hurt him
well.
bad.
He cracked him.
Yeah, you heard him bad. He also said that Masvidal was definitely greasing for this fight. Said he was super slippery from the beginning, like he was covered in lotion or some shit. It's like that's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, he looked fantastic. He said that give me a title shot or cut me after this, basically, which I don't know how that's going to work out. I hope he doesn't stick to that, Giving Dana White an ultimatum almost never
works out. Never works out. No.
Yeah.
Unless you're Kobe.
Unless you're Kobe, because he's got some kind of dirt on him. Masvidal retires, has a pretty good retirement until the last 3 sentences of the interview. It was a very cool moment because he's a legend of the game, and then he just turns it like super political, and it's like, we didn't need that. Regardless of like your political beliefs and stuff, it's like it was a very cool moment up until that, and then he starts going super political, and I was like, do that like later in the press conference or something. Don't do it in the cage, Like he's gonna look back. We're in this weird like political fad right now. Like I don't think it's gonna be as like team heavy like later on, like years down the line. So like looking back on it, I feel like it's gonna be kind of a bummer for him looking back on the interview and being like, damn, I did that when I retired. That kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Just kind of corny.
Man, the way I look at it, you could do whatever the heck you want, man. After a 20-year career, say whatever you want.
True.
Everybody's not gonna like it, but you earned your right to have your 5 minutes in there afterwards and say whatever the hell you want, and then ride off into the sunset. His kids up there with him, walking out with him, like that part was cool, right?
That is cool.
And like he said, he's like, it's been 20 years, man.
Yeah,
like I'm good,
Yeah.
So good for him. Man.
Real quick, Regen says Dana was told about what Gilbert said, and he said he likes it, and Gilbert has a deal. I was surprised at that response. I was too. But also the way he said it seemed like he was like, yeah, cool, he's got a deal, and then he's like, but we're still making Colby. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. Well, so it's gonna be Colby versus Leon Edwards, and then the fight, the winner of Colby versus Leon probably gets Gilbert then.
Maybe, but then they're also talking about Bilal's fighting Usman, and it's like if Bilal beats Usman, like he has to get a title shot.
If Bilal beats Usman, they'll probably put him up against whoever's ranked 10th after that.
Shavkat. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, something's gonna happen. Watch. Poor Bilal, man. But let's be real here.
Did you see him?
He beat Usman. I saw him walking into the cage with Bahamontes.
Did you see his shirt?
No. What was it?
He's rocking just a black shirt with a picture of Colby, where Colby, when he got his jaw broken against Usman, and he's all bloody, and he looks like he's crying, and he's like looking kind of at the camera with a broken jaw. He was just wearing that.
That's hilarious. Classic. That is classic. All right, man. We're 30 minutes in and only 2 fights in.
Yeah, I knew we were going to take a long time on the first one. HB Comer says, I also could have done without the brand and stuff, but the freedom to say whatever that UFC gives to the fighters is one of the things that makes it great. 100%.
100%. Hey, couldn't have said it any better, HB Comer, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we had Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. You picked?
I think I picked Yanez.
And I picked Rob Font.
I was so back and forth. And remember, I was like, this is the most interesting matchup on the card. It's just such an interesting matchup because of the questions leading into it posed to Yanez more so. And what did I say? I said Yanez struggled in the past with really good jabbers. And Randy Costa, in my opinion, is not one of the best jabbers in the UFC, but he had a lot of success with the jab against Yanez. He couldn't really get off of it after that first round. Rob Font, maybe the best jabber in the UFC. His jab is so goddamn good. I feel like it doesn't get enough credit. People talk about it and stuff, but it's like, no, it's not just a good jab. It's like, it's for sure top 3 in mixed martial arts, not even just the UFC. His jab is incredible.
He's got sneaky power.
And that was the cool thing going into this for Rob Font is everyone's calling him pillow fisted. When's the last time he got a finish? And you could even tell when he watched the finish on the replay, he was like, damn, that is so cool. Like I've never seen a fighter like just be like speechless of their own
admire their own work so much after.
It was just so cool to see, because everyone's calling him pillow fisted. But man, there are some fights where both guys are like, no, I'm gonna get him out of there. And regardless of what they do, I'm gonna get them out of there. And this is both of them going into this fight. And then they just go in there and they just throw down until one of them is done. Like that's what this fight was. It was 2 guys walking into the fire and staying in it until one of them fell. And it was fucking awesome. It was such a cool fight.
Both of them with amazing boxing. All right.
Yeah.
That's what they're both really known for is their
God,
boxing.
look at that.
And in the way that I looked at it was Yanez is going to be a top 5 fighter in his division. It's going to happen. But you're going up against Rob Font, who for me is another version of Yanez, but with more experience.
Yeah.
Going up against higher tier fighters for a longer period of time. So at first I was a little worried because I thought to myself, oh, there's a speed difference here.
Yeah.
There's a big speed difference. Yanez is really, really fast, man. He was able to get that right down the pipe a lot faster. And I was telling my buddies that were with me last night, I was like, this is an efficiency fight. Because when you take a look at both of them, there's very little wasted energy.
Yeah.
Everything's straight down. The hooks are crisp. Nothing's too wide, right?
Yeah.
But again, to quote your boy, Conor McGregor again, timing beats speed.
Yeah.
Right? And holy smokes, very similar to Izzy's. This hook was very popular last night.
Yeah, well, so
because we saw it over and over again.
That was the weird thing. Like DC and Rogan like forgot what a shovel hook was. They're like, it's like a uppercut hook mix. Like, what is it? Like, what an interesting. And it's like that's a shovel hook. Like, it's nothing new. But man, like you said, both these guys feels like Yanez thought he could just run through Font. That's exactly what it felt like, and that's what I mean. Like two guys who decide no matter what comes my way, I'm gonna finish this guy, and they just met in the middle. They did their thing until one of them got finished, and it happened to be Rob Font. He really, really was heavy on the jab, and one thing that Font sometimes in Rob Font's fights, he's a little bit slower to start throwing the two behind the jab. He'll like double up on the jab. He'll throw it just once. He feints it really well, and because he throws the jab so well, the feint really gets people to bite because they're like, God, I have to react. Even if it's a feint, I have to react. But he started throwing the two early, and I think he started throwing the two early because Yanez was standing in front of him, cracking him. And he's like, I cannot just jab this guy. I have to get it back. And man, did he get it back. And in that exchange where he hit that shovel hook, I mean, it sent, look at this picture. Yanez went flying. It's like gravity got turned up and he got sucked down into the mat. Like he got, it was violent, man. It was violent. He didn't just get hit and like fall back. He fucking slammed in the mat. It looked like it was fast forwarded the way he fell. And then Yanez, Font got the finish.
Not the end of Yanez by any means.
No.
But again, just taking a look, like I'm looking at Yanez, right? Beat Victor Rodriguez, Gustavo Lopez,
big step
Costa.
up.
Beat Davey Grant. Davey Grant's
Yeah,
no slouch. Beat Tony Kelly, but dude, again, you're going up against Rob Font.
Yeah.
Put some respect on that man's name.
That's what we talked about, right? We're like, this is a big, big test. That was the questions on this fight are what made it so interesting to me. And I mean, fuck, it delivered. It delivered so much. HW Comer says he beat him like he owes him money. I mean, there's some guys who just step into the fire. You know what I mean? And they don't get out of it. Some guys get into it. They test the fire. Oh, it's a little too hot. Rob Font and Adrian Yanez fucking stayed in it. That was a fantastic fight. So good.
Sure. Rob Font proving he's still elite. Adrian Yanez still going to be one of those top contenders for a while. Just a little setback, but still think extremely highly of Yanez.
Yeah, and HW Comer also says didn't like Yanez's reaction after the loss. I didn't either, but I want to give him some credit, right? He got beat pretty bad. He was out of it. I don't know what he was really complaining about. I don't know if it was the stoppage. It seems like he was yelling at Rob Font's coaches maybe. I don't know what was going on there, but in the moment it's hard. Now the big question on Yanez is was he complaining about an excuse being made or making an excuse or something? Like, I wasn't out, I was still in it, all that type of stuff. He needs to just accept it, learn from this fight, and grow from it. I hope he's able to do that because that's the biggest thing now coming out of this fight is what does Yanez do after this?
Well, he had posted something, just taking full responsibility for the loss.
Well, that's good.
Let me see here. Oh, it's not. I didn't get it. Yeah.
That's fine.
So like you said, he was probably just severely concussed.
Yeah.
All right.
Correct.
We also had Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. We talked about that shovel hook that was extremely popular last night from Izzy. Rob Font, Kevin Holland, is the one that kind of started that party in the beginning of the night, right? We knew this was going to be an extremely fun fight going in. Did you have Holland going into this one?
I think I did. I don't remember, but I think I picked him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we both picked Kevin Holland. He fights long.
Yeah.
He knows how to use his length. He knows how to use his reach. He's so good at being able to hurt you from the weirdest angles, the different positions. We saw it against Jacare. Ponzinibbio's holding his leg here, and he hits him with a hammer fist, like a back fist, and drops Ponzinibbio.
He caught the kick, threw the right hand, missed, and then pulled it back and dropped him. that pullback back fist was so sick.
Remember Home Alone? Where he throws the paint can down and he like whiffs and he's like, "You missed me." And the paint can comes back and hits him and he's like, "Oh no, there's two sides to this." That was Ponzinibbio last night.
Yeah.
He was Marv. He was Marv. He got cracked on the way back, dude. And again, Holland is just such a creative striker. Shout out to Holland, by the way, who has our boy Derwin Lamb back in the corner.
Oh, that was so cool, man. The first interview we ever did, I think, right, was Derwin Lamb, the striking coach for
First
Kevin
interview
Holland.
we ever did, yeah.
Kevin Holland left him, went to a new gym after he started getting some success, right? And then he's kind of struggled, right? He's gone up and down, all this stuff. It was cool to see him like return back to the roots. Derwin Lamb in the corner. John Anik gave him a shout out. I mean, it was cool to see that reunion, and Kevin Holland looks so good in this fight, and it's like, dude, this is where you need to be. This is where you need to be.
And there's
maybe he got too big for his britches a little bit, right? And then that happens. He ascended, right?
There's a reason that he looked more calm and more poised in the octagon, man. Because Kevin Holland tends to get a little excited and a little wild.
Yeah.
He did seem more focused going into this fight. There was less of that trash talking and everything that we've grown accustomed to. Hey, was your boy talking to the president and to Dana White and to Mike Tyson in between rounds? Maybe. But when
asking Ponzinibbio if he smells weed.
Yeah.
I smell weed.
but
much less.
You see, again, that the striking skills just seem more honed.
Yeah.
In this fight. It seemed a lot more crisp. So shout out to Derwin Lamb, CD Powertrain in his corner as well. Like you name it, man. It just seemed like this camp was perfect.
Seemed like a very good camp. Ponzinibbio, I think, had the right game plan to just smoke those legs out as soon as you can, because one of the things that allows Holland to fight so long is when you think you're out of range, he'll throw and then he'll like hop while he throws and he'll close that distance. The way he's able to generate, to cover distance while striking is so good because he's so long already. Most guys who are that long don't develop that skill because they don't need to. You know what I mean? Because they are so much longer, they don't need to cover the distance like someone like Michael Chandler needs to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But man, Kevin Holland's able to do that, where he'll shift, he'll hop, he covers distance so well with his feet that it adds another like 10 inches to his already insane reach. So what you have to do is you have to start taking out those legs, so he can't do that with his feet. And you saw him slowing down a little bit, but man, once he got the finish, you could tell he was still able to dart in like that and land those long shots. So Ponzinibbio had the right game plan.
Face planted. Look at that.
Yeah, and Ponzinibbio complained again on this one too. But I don't really.
It was a good stoppage.
I don't put too much stock in the complaining because dude was out cold. And when you're out cold, you don't know you were out cold. You come back and you're like, what the fuck? I never left. It's like, no, you were in another dimension.
I think the other shot woke him up. And I know it's weird to say that. Shots. Yes, it's weird to say that and it's weird to hear that. But if you see the replay, his eyes after he gets hit are glazed over. He's staring off into the lights.
Trying to find Trump who's over there, though.
Yeah, wrong side. And then Holland lands that big shot. And after he lands that big shot, you see Ponzinibbio kind of like turtle up a little bit. And so, good stoppage.
It was a great stoppage. He face planted, out cold. He's still out cold. He gets hit with the big one, hit with the second one. On the second one, he just like gets back up and he's like, no. But it's like, dude, your face was, he was out. He was out. He was not going to be able to get up like that if those two follow-up shots didn't happen, I don't think. He was out.
Look at how excited Kid Rock looks in the background, too. Super excited.
Dude, there was one moment. I think it was when Izzy. It was when Izzy won, and he walks over to Tyson, and he's like talking to Tyson, like fucking me and you, like fucking, like we're common, right? We're similar.
Yeah,
And Kid Rock's standing there, like, yeah, dude, like trying to be in it too, and it's like, no, dude, you're not a part of this. Go, you know what I mean? It's like, this is not for you.
HLB, ground walking. It's a new technique. He didn't walk fast enough in the ground when he was down there. I'll tell you that right now.
No.
He still ate a couple big shots, but yeah. Hey, props to Kevin Holland. And who did he call out? He called out Jorge, right? But we saw Jorge just retired. So we'll see what's next.
And we called that, right? We were like, if Kevin Holland wins and Masvidal loses, that's the fight to make. They were beefing. Yeah. That was before they were beefing the whole week, but then Masvidal retires. But also, it's an MMA retirement, so you never really know.
Yeah, but he hopped on Instagram and also called out
Holland?
Kevin Holland. He called somebody else out. I just can't remember who it was, but he was a smart guy. He's like, you know what? The guy I called out just retired, so I gotta call somebody else out like ASAP. Yeah, but who was it?
It kind of sucks that Michelle Pereira is matched up against Wonder Boy, because I would love to see Michelle Pereira versus Kevin Holland. I feel like that would be a really fun fight.
Oh, he called out Michael Chiesa. That's who it was.
Yeah, okay.
He said, hey, somebody text Michael Chiesa and tell him down the fight.
Yeah.
All right.
HW Comer says, props to Holland. It's only been 4 months since the Wonder Boy beating where he broke his hand. Yeah. I think that's what he was saying to Dana, right? When he hopped the fence and he's talking to Dana, I think he was telling him, like, this hand's still fucking broken. I'm pretty sure that's what he was saying. Dude's a savage.
Still did his thing, man. All right. We got a few fights to cover still. We'll try to breeze through these so we can get everybody back to whatever it is that they're doing on Easters.
I think we probably just covered 2 more.
Okay.
We're 47 minutes. This next one's going to be quick, and the one after that is one we definitely need to talk about.
We need to put some respect on Christian Rodriguez's name, because I picked Raul Rosas. I think you picked Raul Rosas.
I picked him too. And I said, this is one of the things. Look, I said, this is, I still stand by what I said. The UFC made this fight because they thought Christian Rodriguez was going to be a walk in the park for Raul Rosas. They were going to put him on the pay-per-view. He's going to run through this guy that most people probably had never heard of. And he'll have a dominant finish and we'll be good. And we almost got that. Raul Rosas was crazy aggressive in that first round, shot the takedown immediately from like fucking 20 yards out, and then eventually takes his back. He's fighting the chokes, never got it. And then Christian Rodriguez said, hang on, there's 2 sides to this. And despite what the setup was, despite the UFC's best effort to use me as a stepping stone for Raul Rosas, I'm going to go in there and do my thing. And that's what makes
Somebody
the sport
didn't tell me he was supposed to lose.
Exactly. That's what makes the sport so good. Because outside of all that other stuff, once you're in there, it's just you versus another guy, and it's up to you guys. And fuck, man, he looked so good in that second round. The second round's what just completely drained Rosas, and then the third round was just fucking dominant.
He got manhandled after that, man.
Dominant.
You know who didn't pick Raul Rosas?
Toasty.
Bye-bye hype train.
Don't book children to fight, man.
Oh my God. Toasty. Gotta love it. He's still coming for both of them, both him and his brother. Gotta do what you gotta do, Toasty. Get after him, man.
But yeah, Christian Rodriguez, man, very impressive for him because the odds were stacked against him. Regardless of if he's the skilled fighter and skilled enough to win, which he obviously was, he was set up to lose this fight. 100% he was set up to lose this fight, and he defied that. And I thought his post-fight interview was fucking amazing, and it was hilarious because they're like
so uncomfortable.
He was Ricky Bobby. He just everything turned out fine. His hands, like, I mean, it was
awesome.
It was amazing. Even Anik at the end of the interview was like, "See Rod stepping out of his comfort zone a little bit there in the interview. You love to see it because it was great, man. It was just super wholesome."
That is pretty good, man. All right, so hey,
made me a fan.
Yeah, Rosas back to the drawing board. Kid's 18, man.
He's got time to learn.
What were you doing when you were 18?
Fuck, yeah, dude, I don't even remember.
This guy's out here. He's kicking off a pay-per-view
with you.
Main card. That is true. That was it. Actually,
I think I was 18 working with you.
HLB Comer, what weight class is Chase Hooper? Let the kids
Yeah,
fight each other.
is Chase Hooper a 135er or 145?
I think he's
I think
145.
145, yeah. Because he fought Bruce Leroy, the boy. Yeah, 145.
Yeah. Are they? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. Again, a lot left for Rosas. Maybe just call Toasty up, get him in there. Let
Yeah.
Toasty just completely derail that hype train. Get it
Yeah,
over
also
with.
sucks that C-Rod missed weight. That's like the only blemish,
Yeah,
That's a bummer.
that is a bummer. All right, now this fight, man. This one right here. Holy smokes!
Yeah, we needed
Kelvin
to get to it.
Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. All right, I've been excited to see Kelvin Gastelum come back, but come back to his old self.
Well, it's like the old self. What is the old self? Because it seems like every fight, Gastelum's different. Every single fight, he's a different guy.
You know what? That's a good point, dude.
So you remember the old Gastelum as the ones that are easy to remember, that are fun. But
the bangers.
Every fight, it's a different Gastelum. It's like, which one's going to show up?
Are you going to get Gastelum versus Hermanson? Or are you going to get Gastelum versus Izzy?
Yeah, Gastelum versus Weidman. It's just completely different every single time he fights. This one was the Gastelum that fought Izzy. He's light on his feet. He's shifting directions. They show Guy Fieri in the crowd. They say celebrity chef and Kelvin Gastelum's nutritionist. And you're like, what the fuck? Guy Fieri is his nutrition. What is going on here? It all makes so much more sense now, He's eating fucking loaded cheeseburgers and stuff. But, one of the things we talked about in the Izzy versus Pereira fight was a counter striker going on the offensive. And that was also Chris Curtis in this fight, because Chris Curtis usually uses what you do against him. He'll roll with some shots. He'll roll and he'll rip with the roll, right? He does that all the time. And he did that in the first round in this fight. And it was not working very well for him. Because Gastelum, it looked like, I don't know if it was just watching tape of Chris Curtis and knowing that Chris Curtis has tendencies when he's rolling with shots, but every time Chris Curtis would dip this way, the right hook was there for him. Like Gastelum wasn't throwing at him and Chris Curtis was slipping. Gastelum was throwing where he was going to slip to in that first round. And Chris Curtis was like, this is not going well at all. And then he made the adjustments. He starts ripping to the body. He'll slip one way. He won't come back that other way for the second shot because he's over here cocking the shot for the body shot. And then you start to see Chris Curtis go on the offensive. And it's like, he's a counter striker. Is he able to go on the offensive? Yes, because he was cracking Gastelum with uppercuts, body shots, and Gastelum was there for it, eating everything like the refrigerator he is. And this was just a back and forth banger and a fight of the year contender. It was so good.
In like Andrew Toasty, HLB Comer, everybody's talking about, can you imagine Gastelum at 170? And this is something that a lot of us have been talking about already for quite some time. He's just always had such a problem with that weight.
With the weight. And maybe with Guy Fieri in his corner, he can do it now. But one of the things
they're hitting diners and dives, bro.
Yeah.
They're not. What do you think it looks like?
Yeah. But one of the things that I think led to or played a part in this fight being so good is that Chris Curtis is a former welterweight himself. It's not like he was fighting someone who's Alex Pereira size. You know what I mean? Yeah. These are two guys who can make welterweight fighting at middleweight. And that worked in Kelvin's favor in this fight. I'm not saying that's why he won, but just when Gastelum decides to just stand and trade, he is vicious. He's vicious.
And the last thing I'll say about this, I talked about sneaky power earlier, right? This guy has sneaky reach because he has short legs and a long torso. It's kind of weird. And his arms, while they kind of look like T-Rex arms, when he reaches and extends and he bends over and that long torso is like Stretch Armstrong, dude. You know what I mean? And just reaches out and is able to crack Curtis as he's backing up. Where Curtis thinks like, hey, I have enough of a distance where I don't have to actually use my lateral movement. I could just take a step back real quick, and he gets caught. Yeah. And that left, especially when he comes in with that right and follows it up with that extended left, has a crazy long reach that you just don't expect to see, and it works for him.
Yeah. Yeah, and Regen makes a good point. Kelvin was one of those fighters that suffers from the lack of weight class from 155 to 205. Look, if they made the 165 division like they should, they would have to bump 170 to 175. Kelvin Gastelum at 175, that's something we were robbed of. That's something we were robbed of. Gastelum at 175 is a killer. He's a killer because he's not fighting guys way bigger than him. So if there was a 175 division, it'd be perfect.
But I still think, man, that he cuts down to 185.
Well, yeah, but
I still think that he misses weight multiple times at 175. This guy has a serious problem with that.
I don't think he wouldn't struggle to make 175. I don't think so. When he missed weight, let's see. So when he missed weight at 170, what was he missing at? It's not like he was missing. So he weighed in at 171 against 171. Rarely did he make 170. Let's see. He made it. Yeah, catch weight at 180 against Woodley. I mean, here's the thing. If HB Comer says if Alex can make 185, Gastelum for sure can make 170 easy. And imagine if he could stop at 175.
I think it's physically possible. I just don't think that mentally it is.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We have.
Toasty says tamales are the true addiction we aren't seeing here.
Yes. Thank you, Toasty. We have Alex Pereira, who's post pictures of him and his tribe back in Brazil. And that this guy has some crazy willpower. This guy's been through some shit. You know what I mean?
Focus.
Yes, I don't think that we see the same from Gastelum. And I'm trying to find a really nice way to say this, but he likes his food, man. That's it.
Yeah.
And I do too.
He does.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But my job doesn't require me to weigh a specific amount in order for me to be able to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Your boy can blow up and I'm okay.
This fight, it is on the short list for fight of the year so far. It's got to be
100% for sure.
It's so good, so good.
All right, man.
And Chris Curtis, Chris Curtis loses this fight, but stock does not go down in my opinion.
No, not at all.
He just got unlucky, and he ended up facing the world beater version of Gastelum instead of the apathetic Gastelum. It sucks, but that's the luck of the draw,
You never know what Gastelum you're gonna get.
Yeah,
it's like Forrest Gump said. All right. Regen says some authentic tamales are hard to turn down. 100%.
Oh,
Nothing
man,
harder to turn down, dude.
The tamales out of the back of someone's minivan at Walmart in Salinas. I mean, you gonna turn that down? Gonna turn those down?
Reheated, by the way. Your boy will go with reheated all day, every day. I don't know why. It's just when it gets crispier.
It gets crispier.
My mouth's getting watery right now.
It steams in the corn husk when you heat it up. Oh my god.
Dude, there's nothing that gives me goosebumps like talking about tamales and talking about Pereira versus Adesanya rematches. All right. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll start closing it up here. So we have moment of silence.
Moment of silence. What do we got? Let's see. Bahamondes was supposed to fight Nicholas Moda originally. He withdrew, so he fought Trey Ogden, and Ogden tried his best, but man, it's a lot to take on Bahamondes. It's hard to get going against someone like that. Let's see. Chris Barnett versus Chase Sherman was the one everybody was excited for. Barnett had to withdraw, so they give him Carl Williams. Sherman pulls out day of the fight. That sucks, but
yeah,
Barnett versus Sherman would have been so much fun. They don't all have to be Rob Font versus Yanez, high level versus high level. They can just be fun, and that's a fun one that we were robbed of. Chiesa was supposed to fight the Leech. The Leech had a spine injury. Did you see the picture he posted of the X-ray or MRI or whatever the hell it was?
No, is he all right?
Not good. Yeah, I think he's gonna be fine, but it's scary stuff with the back,
yeah.
But the biggest one obviously was the Aljamain Sterling versus Triple C, Henry Cejudo. That got rebooked. It's kind of weird that it says fizzled on Tabology because that got rebooked for May 6th, which I don't think I'll be present for that recap episode. So we'll have to figure out what we're doing there. Toasty's got a big fight that weekend. Maybe you guys, we'll talk about that later.
For sure. And then monies.
Bonuses. I thought the bonuses were kind of fucked on this one. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, Izzy gets one for the revenge that he exerted on Pereira. Rob Font gets one for saying, hold these pillow fists and knocking out Rob Font, or Adrian Yanez, sorry. And then Gastelum versus Curtis. Obviously, they get fight of the night. I thought there should have been more bonuses on this card. I thought Pfeiffer should have got one for beating Nearshart. And I thought Steve Garcia, we didn't really talk about it because we ran out of time, but
Your
Steve
boy
Garcia
Kevin
had
Holland?
a fantastic win. Yeah, Kevin
Get your
Holland
boy
should have got a
Kevin Holland
bonus. I really thought Garcia should have got a bonus because he almost got flatlined in the
Oh,
first
that
round.
was a really
And then
good
he
fight
comes
too.
back. He deserves an extra 50K. But
Norton Beck came in with some
Dana's gonna
massive
Dana.
shots, dude, back and forth. Oh my god.
yeah,
I
it was a
know
good
it's
fight.
like some of the like most random cards. Sometimes he's like, everybody gets a bonus.
Yeah,
And then you have bangers like this, and he's like, it's not on our
gonna
budget,
break the
guys.
budget, man.
All right. Hey, so thank you again to everybody that joined us. HOB Comer, Toasty, Regen. Was there anybody else that I missed, Will?
We had some people from Twitch. Shout out Twitch.
What is it? 121 on Twitch. Yes. But it's always so much fun whenever everybody joins us to talk fights, and especially for major events like this when we're all just so pumped about everything that that went down. So, and of course, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We broke 2,000.
We broke 2,000. We're at
Clean.
2,050 or something like that. Happy Easter.
Yeah, we broke the 2,000 followers. We're trying to reach that $3,000 now. That's where we're going. Are we just going to jump up saying, hey, we're not going to reach 2,000? Or
we're not going 2,500? We're going $3,000?
Yes.
Let's
go 2,500. We're trying to reach.
No, we're going $3,000.
Whatever. Let's do it. Let's try to reach.
He is risen.
$3,000.
You know what I mean?
Oh my god. But yes, thank you everybody for joining us. Storyofthefight.com. You can find our links for everything on there, everywhere podcasts are found. Thank you so much. Happy Easter. Do you have anything else, Will?
No, thanks everybody.
Shout out Richard Bustos, who produces this podcast. Happy Easter. Thanks for joining us for another week of Story of the Fight.